Injustice is a widely successful video game and comic series. In order to build up to where the video game is happening, they broke up the comic book storylines into multiple years. So today we're going to be bringing you year 4 of Injustice. This is a collection of our older videos from our main Comicstorian channel, but we're making it easier for you to find if you're looking for specific things. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Injustice Year 4.
Olympus, a kingdom that few believe even exists, and even fewer have actually seen. Most accept the world that they are a part of, not even considering alternate timelines, magical dimensions, and places that exist outside of known reality. But Olympus is not merely folklore, nor is it myth meant to account for what could not be explained by primitive man. Olympus is real, and so are the gods that inhabit it. And the gods are discussing the situation on Earth, in which these beings referring to themselves as superheroes are taking over the planet. And Ares states that it's time to put mankind back in its place. While down on Earth in the Hall of Justice, Superman is sitting on his self-appointed throne, trying to figure out where Batman is. Ever since their battle that involved the magics of heaven and hell and the death of Huntress, he's been in hiding. And Superman tells Hal Jordan, the Yellow Lantern, that they need to do better at finding Batman. And Hal tells him not to speak to him like that. Just because he's in control of the Justice League does not make him better than the Justice League. They aren't his subjects, so don't talk to them like they are. Superman stands up and informs Hal that he doesn't have time for his delicate ego and to take his hurt feelings and go somewhere else. Hal begins to get his ring ready, and Superman begins to heat his eyes up when Wonder Woman walks in. She reminds Superman that they are his friends, and he shouldn't be trying to turn his friends into insurgents like Batman. Meanwhile, Batman is hiding in Alaska, in a lead-lined base trying to decide if he should accept the offer that he has been given. How far is too far for this war to go? Alfred walks over and gives him his dinner before asking him if he's thought about reaching out to Damian, and Bruce tells him that he has no idea where Damian is. So Alfred reminds him, the Joker is not your fault. Superman is not your fault. Dick Grayson's death is not your fault. None of this is your burden to carry alone. Batman takes the Batjet to a random mountaintop where Ares, the god of war, is standing, and he tells him, I'm in. Meanwhile, Renee Montoya is drinking herself into a stupor. This war between Superman and Batman has cost her Huntress, and she's about to get her revenge. So she decides that she's gonna get Superman's attention by attacking Cyborg and Robin. She drops Cyborg in a single hit, leaving just her and Robin. Damian throws a batarang at her and it breaks off her head, and she asks, are you done? He runs in and tries to punch her, then kick her, then punch her right in the nose. And she doesn't even flinch. She then uppercuts him into the sky. As he bounces into the streets nearby, she walks up and grabs him by the head and yells into the nearby news chopper's cameras, Superman, face me or Robin dies! Superman is sitting with his parents asking if they are afraid of him when he can hear her shouting with his super hearing, and he asks them to turn the TV on. He then rockets off to face her. Meanwhile, Billy Batson is getting pulled out of school by a woman claiming to be his mother, Harley Quinn. She walks him out to her motorcycle, a Harley for Harley as she says, and asks him to turn into his better half. When he refuses, she knocks him out and takes him hostage. Back with Superman and Renee, Superman hits her from behind, forcing her to drop Robin. She gets back on her feet and we can see how she is so strong suddenly. She is popping every single one of the super strength granting pills that she can get her hands on. All at once, her muscles begin bulging as she begins screaming, I'm gonna kill you, Superman! She gets in a few hits, but then he hits her with everything that he has, throwing her through the nearby Washington Monument. So, she tears it out of the ground and hits Superman with it, sending him flying. Then she reels back in pain and hits the ground. Those pills give their users incredible amounts of strength, but they are a terrible strain on the human heart. And Renee just took a handful of them. Superman rockets back onto the scene, slamming her into the ground, demanding that she stop. He can see the strain on her heart. But it's too little, too late, as she falls to the ground, spewing the green liquid all over the place. Nearby, a Wayne helicopter lands and Bruce Wayne gets out, and he runs to catch Renee as she dies from her overdose. Superman looks at Bruce, mourning over the loss of another friend, and he tells him, just go. Wonder Woman is in shock. Clark, we've been searching all over for him for months, and he's right here. No, this isn't Batman. This is Bruce Wayne, and he's here to take his friend home. This war has cost us too much. It's over. Say it, Bruce. With tears in his eyes, Bruce tells him, it's over. He then takes Renee Montoya and he heads back to his hideout, where he dons the cowl and tells his friends, this isn't over. While Bruce prepares for the next part of his mission, Barbara Gordon calls Lex Luthor their secret man on the inside for Batman's team. She tells him that she needs his help, and he tries an experimental procedure to repair her broken spine. Because in this universe, Barbara Gordon is still crippled by the Joker, while Lex is working on his own experiment to save the day, a clone of Superman. Meanwhile, Billy Batson wakes up to Harley Quinn standing in front of him while he's tied to a chair. She welcomes him to her secret hideout, the Quiver. Yes, she knows that this looks like Green Arrow's old hideout, but he's not around anymore. But that's when she gets a call to return to Batman's hideout, and it's time to move. So she gasses Billy and leaves him tied to that chair. Batman prepares his team for the big move that is coming, and Barbara surprises everyone by walking in as Batgirl. When Batman tries to stop her, she tells him that it's her choice, not his, and she's going to help in this fight. Harley backs her up too. True dat, son! And with that, Batman's latest plan begins, as the Amazons march on the Hall of Justice, with Hermes demanding that by the decree of Zeus, Superman leave Earth, or suffer the wrath of the Amazon army. Wonder Woman is in shock. What is this? And she walks up to Artemis, demanding to know who ordered this attack. Well, as it turns out, the deal that was struck to wake Wonder Woman from her magical sleep was that Hera was owed a favor. And that favor was to have Wonder Woman's mother march the Amazons on Superman for daring to treat himself as a god. Her mother did refuse, but Hera just imprisoned her. Upon hearing this, Wonder Woman grabs Hermes. My mother better not be hurt. And then she attempts to order the Amazons to stand down. But as she's told, she holds no dominion over them right now. This leaves Superman and his team wondering how this even got started, and that's when Batman arrives, landing the Batplane. Superman demands to know if Batman has forgotten the last time that they spoke. No, you are wrong, Clark. It's not over, Batman simply says as he walks over. And I had nothing to do with this. It was your mother, Diana. But we'll benefit from them being on the right side, he says with a smile. Hermes is growing tired of this, though. What is your answer, Superman? Superman looks at Wonder Woman. Is there anything we can do? Yes. I demand that we settle this with judgment by combat. One champion from each side to the death. And Hermes accepts. Superman steps forward. I will be my own champion. Now choose yours. And Harley Quinn jumps in. I volunteer! I volunteer as tribute! Everyone turns to look at her weird. Harness Everquinn? Anyone? Luckily, everyone ignores her and Batman turns back to Superman. On behalf of the gods, we choose Wonder Woman. She jumps on Batman. How dare you! But Hermes throws her off. I will not allow this. This drives Superman to jump on Hermes, and the battle begins with Harley Quinn shouting, "It's on, District 12! At that moment, a bolt of lightning hits the ground. Enough! And Zeus stands before everyone. I will not have this divine challenge ignored by my daughter or anyone else. Hal, Flash, and Cyborg all look at each other. Did you know her dad was? Nope. Wonder Woman takes this chance. How can this be? My mother would never have agreed to this. And Zeus explains that due to her awakening, she must fight in the side of Hera, and if she refuses, her mother will die. So, she apologizes to Clark, and they begin their battle! Wonder Woman comes in with a swing of her sword, and Superman blocks it with his forearm, shattering her sword. He then gets in a right hook, causing her to bleed. She then kicks him, so he punches her in the gut, and then across the jaw. And when she comes in for a punch, he headbutts her, busting her nose, inciting the rage of an Amazon! She elbows him in the knee, gouges out his eyes, and breaks his arm. He then looks up at her and bombards her with his heat vision. Wonder Woman holds her shield up and walks into it. You know this won't stop me, Clark. It'll hurt, but it won't stop me. She then cracks him over the face with her shield, and he lunges at her with the full strength of his abilities, punching her in the jaw. I will kill you if I have to! And they both step back, and Wonder Woman asks him to yield. She doesn't want to kill him, and he jumps back in. Want has nothing to do with it! They both jump back into it, Wonder Woman getting in multiple shots, and Hal Jordan looking on and realizing this isn't the Superman that he knew. Superman was fearful. He feared for humanity because he was linked to humanity through Lois, and now he isn't. The yellow ring can sense somebody's fear, and he can sense none in Superman. He is now beyond caring about himself or anyone else. Wonder Woman then pummels Clark into the ground and then holds him up by his symbol. It's over. She then winds up prepared to take his life, and she gets blasted by yellow energy! Sinestro has returned, and he isn't about to let Superman lose. Zeus shouts out, "Who dares?" And everyone turns to Sinestro. Why did you do that? Isn't it obvious? The traitor was about to kill Superman, and you were all standing there. Superman hits Sinestro with everything he has, throwing him across the planet. No more from you. Zeus then turns to the army. You know the task that is before you, Hermes. Understood, Allfather. Army of Zeus, attack! Everyone jumps in to continue this fight. The army of Zeus, Superman's regime, Batman's insurgency. But one fight takes precedence over all of this. Damian stands before Bruce. I've waited a long time for this one, Dad. And he tells him, and you won't mind waiting longer. And Batgirl knocks out Damian. Hermes runs at his full speed, laughing at the idea of another speedster, and he drops Flash while Artemis drops Hal Jordan. Then Superman shouts, enough, and he uses his super breath to push everyone down. But it's not really the end, is it? As the gods arrive, Superman, Apollo shouts, you have incurred the wrath of the gods, surrender or die. And he was surrounded by his fellow gods, Atlas, Eros, Hercules, and Athena. So Cyborg puts a call out to the rest of the Justice League. They're gonna need everyone. Raven hears the call but refuses to come as she's mourning the loss of her father Trigon. Billy is still unconscious in the quiver, with Ares the god of war looking over him. Lex sees the beacon go off but chooses to ignore it so he can continue his work on a Superman clone. So Superman stands there, silent, with no reinforcements. Hermes can see that Superman is defeated, so he gives him 1 day to abdicate his false throne and leave the Hall of Justice. He then orders Artemis to pull back and make camp. Batman can't believe it! They have Superman on the run! Why are they pulling back? We can't give them time to fortify their position. And Hercules corrects him. There is no we, mortal. There is only the will of my father. Tell your caped friends to stand down or I will. So Superman and his regime begin to walk back into the hall, picking up their injured. But Hermes tells Diana to stop and come with him, as she now stands with Zeus. She turns furious. I will not! And she jumps on Hermes, punching him. Diana, stop, Superman shouts, and Hal wonders if they should be joining her. But Hercules comes in and hits Wonder Woman over the head so hard that she bleeds. Damian then asks, we're jumping in now, right? And Superman replies with, leave the big one to me. So Cyborg amplifies the sun's rays to repair Superman's arms, and they begin battling the gods again. Hal Jordan tries to take on Hercules, but Hercules shatters his constructs and knocks him to the ground, where Harley takes a cheap shot and kicks him. Hercules then lifts her off the ground, telling her that this is his fight, and she can go. He then continues to approach Hal, so Hal hits him with a blast of fear. But Hercules ignores it, telling Hal, your fear-mongering days are over. And then he goes in for a punch that could crush a mere mortal. Luckily, Superman catches it, and Wonder Woman jumps in so they both begin battling with Hercules. Hercules is a demigod though, and he uppercuts Superman into space before grabbing Diana by the throat. Batman's team looks on in horror as they realize that this is a massacre. Is this really what they wanted? Meanwhile, in the quiver, Ares approaches Billy Batson and removes the tape over his mouth. It's time. Superman needs you. So Billy shouts, Shazam! And the superhero with the power of the gods prepares to enter the battlefield. Shazam is coming in hot, ready to fight this. He was tied up in Harley Quinn's base, but now Ares has released him to come to Superman's aid. Superman is about to lose his fight against the old gods, but Shazam has the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. Superman might be having problems with a single god, but Shazam has the power of 6 gods, and he is on Superman's side. Standing in front of the Hall of Justice, Hercules is currently holding Wonder Woman by the throat, ready to end the life of his own sister, when Shazam slams him from behind. Kick his ass, Shazzy, Harley shouts. And Hercules begins fighting it out with Shazam by punching him in the face, but Shazam uses everything he has to slam Hercules in the gut. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman is struggling to regain her breath when 3 of Huntress's friends walk up behind her. Wonder Woman murdered Huntress by mistake when they all fought against Trigon in year 3. Batwoman kicks Wonder Woman while she's down, and using her own lasso, she wraps it around Wonder Woman's neck. She begins to strangle her as Batgirl tries to stop her, but Batwoman lets her go. You aren't worth it, Diana. Over with Shazam and Hercules, the power of 2 gods can be heard with every punch. The ground is literally being pushed back by their force. So Shazam changes it up, and he thunderclaps Hercules' ears, and then he headbutts him and double slams him on the back. Let's change your name to Hercules, because you don't deserve my H. Meanwhile, Superman is in space from the uppercut that Hercules gave him last time, and he's finally coming to realize that this is the end. So he comes rocketing back to Earth at unbelievable speeds, using all of the force of entering orbit to finish off Hercules, burying him into the ground. Everyone stops because Superman just killed the demigod. So Apollo shoots him in the shoulder and curses him with a plague. Shazam tears the arrow out and then he punches Apollo with his strength, leading the rest of the gods to jump in and fight. But over on the other side of the battlefield, Batman gets hit in the head with a baton, and Damian stands there. I'm gonna enjoy kicking your ass. Batman and Damian have been at odds ever since Damian accidentally killed Nightwing, with Damian joining Superman's regime and Batman leading the insurgency. Damian jumps in and Batman blocks it. Batman tries to calm his own son down, telling him that he's the most skilled fighter to ever wear the Robin costume. But Damian screams, "Don't say it too loud, your favorite son might hear you." "This isn't about Dick, Damian. It's always been about Dick." "I'm really sorry, Damian," Batman says into Damian's eyes, "for blaming you for what happened. It wasn't your fault." And then Batman throws Damian to the ground. But Damian gets up and punches him. "I don't believe you!" "Come back to me, Damian. We can be Batman and Robin again." So Damian tears the R off his chest. "I will never be your Robin again. I'd rather die first." He leaps in and Batman knees him in the stomach, knocking him out. While back with Shazam, he takes off into the sky to break Eros' wings, and then he's struck by lightning, turning him back into Billy Batson. He falls to the ground and standing in front of him is Zeus. He stares at him and shouts the word that brings back his powers, "Shazam!" But nothing happens. Zeus stares at him. "I am the All-Father, and you only have your powers because I granted them. No more will you hurt my children. Superman, abdicate your throne or I will punish you all, starting with this boy." Harley runs at Zeus. "Let him go!" So Zeus hits her with a lightning bolt, killing her. "I need an answer, Superman." Realizing he doesn't have an option, Superman sends his team back to their home cities to wait for word from him, and they all disperse. Once the battle has ended, the world asks the question, what's next? Are the ancient gods going to rule the earth now? Where is Superman going to go? And the old leaders question, can they do something to get their power back from Superman? Over at the Hall of Justice, Ares the God of War approaches Superman to continue their plans. Ares has been playing both sides. He convinced Batman to join the fight while at the same time has secretly been working with Superman, after we learn that he hasn't always been the God of War, but was actually a thing turned into the God of War because of his love for war by Zeus. He informs Superman that if he wants to stop Zeus, he'll need to get Zeus's brothers involved, Poseidon and Hades. Ares does love war. But who is Ares really working for? Meanwhile, over at Themyscira, the home of the Amazons, and Zeus's army's location, Wonder Woman barges into Batman's tent as she's being forced to be on Zeus and Batman's side because her father is Zeus. She demands to know how he dare go to her father for support. Look at what he's done! And he tells her, he only wanted Superman to surrender. He isn't the one who called for trial by combat. That was her who demanded that she get to fight against Superman. At that moment, both of them begin to feel the ground shaking beneath them, and they run outside to see a monstrous wave approaching them. Meanwhile, in the underworld, Harley Quinn is on a boat with Billy Batson and Wonder Woman's mother, being sent to the Dungeon of the Damned. Back on Themyscira, everyone is heading outside to see the giant wall of water coming their way, but Batman realizes the water has paused and it's waiting. It's Poseidon, and he's holding the wall up, so Wonder Woman jumps up there to ask what the meaning of this is. He demands that Zeus abandon this pointless pursuit and return to Olympus. And then a blast of heat vision takes down Hermes and his flyer, allowing Poseidon to declare that he stands with the Kryptonian. So Batman tries to call Aquaman for help, but Aquaman tells him that he won't be getting involved with this, and he hangs up on Batman. That's when Mera gives him a look, the look that says they need to get involved. Wonder Woman jumps up and punches Superman for getting more gods involved in this, and then an arrow from the Amazon army flies and it hits Poseidon in the shoulder. So Poseidon lets the wave come down on the island, just as it gets inches from crushing everyone. Mera stops it. Poseidon swipes his trident at Wonder Woman, throwing her into the water, and Aquaman tackles him. Batgirl, Catwoman, and Batwoman decide that they can't fight against a wall of water, so they're gonna work on getting everyone to safety before it falls. And back on the wall of water, Poseidon hits Aquaman in the junk and stabs him. You're just a man fighting a god. Superman breaks from the fight to go get Diana in the water, and Poseidon begins pummeling Mera, trying to get her to break her concentration so that his wall of water can fall. So Aquaman pulls Poseidon down into the water, and then he hits Poseidon with a right hook and then a left hook, while a squid brings him his trident and he runs Poseidon through the back. He then holds him up and feeds him to a shark. When Aquaman goes back to the surface, he can see that Mera can't hold the water anymore, and the entire wall of water crashes down at Themyscira. Meanwhile, back in the underworld, Harley is popping green pills that grant strength and wrecking anyone in her path to try and get the three of them out of here. That is until she causes so many problems in the underworld that Ares appears down below to stop her. She gives him a kick and steals his mother box? They then boom tube to another place, a place that they don't want to be. Back on Themyscira, the waves are crashing down on the Amazon city, and everyone is trying to evacuate beyond a couple of cliffs so that Batman can bomb the cliffs and seal the water off. While Batman does manage to seal the water and save the civilians, he is left on the wrong side of the wave with the Amazon army and Batwoman, until Flash runs in to save everyone. He runs up to the cliff. Oh man, too close. Zeus then appears and tells his brother to stop this right this second and pull the ocean back. Why do you side with the Kryptonian? Are your strings that easily pulled? No, I do this on my own accord. Then you defy my choice? No, Allfather. And Poseidon retreats, leaving only Superman to stand before Zeus. Superman, you have lost your right to inhabit this planet. Leave right now or die. So Superman swings at Zeus! His punches literally go through thin air, and Zeus smacks him aside. But that's when Batman runs over to Clark. We've all been played! Zeus then hits them all with lightning, and Clark struggles to get out the words. What do you know? More than I'm about to say. I got word that Harley has a mother box. Realizing that this can only mean one thing, Superman leaves Earth. Meanwhile, we see where Harley, Billy, and Wonder Woman's mother have all boom-tubed to. Apocalypse. Darkseid is behind all of this, and that's when Superman hits him at top speed. He flew all the way here. Your scheming with Ares ends now. He shouts, hitting Darkseid again, and then with his heat vision, he cuts all of the chains holding everyone.
I've been waiting for you, Kryptonian. I want my revenge for what you did to my son.
For those of you only joining us now, all the way back in the first year of Injustice, Superman killed Kalibek, Darkseid's son. Superman jumps on Darkseid. You will never touch Earth again, hitting him with everything, and then Darkseid throws Superman back. Billy gets himself, Harley, and Diana's mother back to Earth, where Zeus is attacking the planet and destroying all of the other religions to show that he is the one true religion. While back on Apokolips, Superman and Darkseid are using everything, and their power is so tremendous that it may destroy the planet of Apokolips. Neither of them can win because Superman cutting loose is more power than Darkseid can handle. But Darkseid is also a new god, a being of tremendous power in his own right. Darkseid is amused.
So we fight to the death then, Kryptonian.
Back with Harley and Billy, Batman and Wonder Woman show up, and Batman tells Harley to give him the mother box. He has a plan. He always has a plan. He boom tubes the new Genesis, the home of the High Father, the new god Allfather. Back with Superman and Darkseid, Darkseid begins taunting Superman.
You are dark, darker than normal. Is this due to the death of your wife?
No, you don't get to talk about her! And he hits him even harder! Superman is beyond angry! They both punch with such force that the very concussion of the impact throws everyone down. One of Darkseid's followers runs over. Master, you must stop! The core will rupture! So Darkseid kills him!
You dare command Darkseid!
Superman then uses his heat vision to throw Darkseid back again, through the walls and into the very planet itself. That's when Orion shows up, another of the new gods. Kal-El, you must stop! Darkseid gets up and looks at Orion.
You dare interrupt us? When I finish with him, you will feel my wrath.
But Orion tells him that he comes with a message from the Source. If they continue this fight, Darkseid will die along with millions. Darkseid grits his teeth.
And the Kryptonian?
The Source was not clear. So Superman looks at Darkseid. Let me make this clear. Stay away from Earth. Back on New Genesis, Batman explains the situation to the High Father, but the High Father doesn't want to get involved. Until Batman explains, the old gods and the new gods are now working together. Ares and Darkseid have caused this latest conflict. Back on Earth, the world's leaders decide to take action against the gods on Olympus, at the exact same time that the remaining members of the Justice League are marching on their throne on Earth. As the League and the gods fight it out, the world's leaders fired nukes, and they're coming in threatening to kill everyone. Hal Jordan told them all not to worry, he has it this time, until Arrow shoots him in the back with an arrow. So Wonder Woman decides that she'll sacrifice herself. She flies up and catches both nukes, and then she flies into space, throwing them up there until Superman, on his way back from Apokolips, grabs them and brings them even further into space. As Wonder Woman falls down to Earth, Superman catches her this time. He then lands in the throne room of the gods, and he calls for Zeus. It's time to end this, and Zeus appears. You dare invoke my name! Zeus raises his staff and he condemns Superman to death, but the High Father then appears in front of Zeus. No, I cannot permit this folly to continue. You dare give me permission? I will lay waste to this entire island. Then, the High Father freezes time to speak to Zeus alone. You were manipulated, Zeus. They toyed with you to destroy Superman and you ultimately. You chose the survival of Olympus over Earth a long time ago, and the Source has told me that your time on Earth is at an end. The Source? Then the High Father unfreezes time, and Zeus tells Hera, it's time to go. He then gives Billy back the power of Shazam. Superman leaves and he grabs Ares by the throat and he drops him off with Darkseid. He's yours now, Darkseid. I don't ever want to see him on Earth again. And Darkseid's left to torture Ares forever. Superman then goes to the world's leaders to tell them that he's going to remove their nukes again. This will not happen a third time. Meanwhile, Lex and Batman are talking about how they can't think of a way to stop Superman. They are running out of options. Lex suggests that maybe now, Batman will consider that there are others out there, powerful individuals with a stake in Earth who could be convinced to join the fight. That's when Lex's alarms go off, as his clone of Superman that he's been working on behind the scenes has broken free.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Comicstorian Full Story. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this and who your favorite superhero is. And don't forget, you can check out the Comicstorian main channel to get daily videos. You can join us over at Comicstorian Movies, aka Absolutely, the podcast channel, to get our opinions on everything going on in the world of superhero movies, comic books, and video games. Or you can join us over at Mangastorian, where we talk about manga. And don't forget to click the link down below to support us further. This hot sauce is a hot sauce that we have created. Hatchin' Jalapeno is a flavor that we created, which involves infusing whiskey into a hot sauce. No, it's not alcoholic, and yes, it is FDA approved. Anyway, once again, thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you next time, right here.